Hello and welcome. For those of you who were here for that first match, game one, where Walther pulled it out, you saw a crazy, crazy seed. I'm Lavos Cloud, and I'm here with Koi. Koi, how are you doing?
Oh, I am pretty tired, but this race is gonna wake me right up.
Yeah, we saw a lot of tricks in the last seed. We saw a lot of fake flippers and splash damage, splash removal tricks. It was nuts.
Yeah, so the last seed for those who didn't see it, Walther ended up winning by a fair margin, but it wasn't as close as the difference in their times would really indicate. The whole race was on the back of Frostbite making this one completely reasonable skip to not do Spike Cave, and it just came back to bite him because he just never went back, and that can happen, absolutely. But if at any point he'd just gone back to Spike Cave, it would have been a very close race, definitely.
Yeah, Spike Cave is a common thing to leave behind. I think the weird part was both of them leaving behind Waterfall Fairy and missing out on the flute for a long time. And I'm sure when Walther got that flute in the back of her head, he was thinking, "Oh man, how far behind?"
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that even as Walther was fighting Ganon, that he did not feel like he was going to win that race with where all the items were and how terrible the seed felt from his perspective.
Yeah, I feel like I don't see many matches end with the winning time be an hour 52. I mean, for myself, I would be happy with that time at any point. But at this level of competition, that's a long season.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a very long seed for runners of this caliber. But sometimes seeds just they line up so poorly that just even getting the sub 2 is a challenge for a really strong runner, and that was one of those seeds for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We're probably going to be starting very soon. The last match ended around like 3:10 Eastern. It's 3:30 now. Both got their screens up, got the names in, so really soon.
Yeah, so moving forward to this race, so in our tournament, the loser of the previous race gets to change a setting from a list of options for the next one. And Frostbite chose to add assured swords. So there's still 3 randomized swords throughout the game, but they're all going to start with the sword. You can actually see it on their equip screen right now. I don't know how that really affects like the game too much. Like it's a pretty minor change, honestly, because typically you just find a sword
Oh
pretty
man,
quick
the
anyway.
flippers to start for Walther, which is hilarious considering how long it took to get the flippers on the.
So flippers right away is actually pretty gross in a normal seed like this because already Zora's in logic, and you have 0 rupees. So they have a lot of checks to go before he has to go over to the Zora area or anything. He might just find some rupees, but you got to be thinking, all right, what am I going to do for Zora money already?
And we have a divergence right from the start. Frostbite going for Sanctuary first, and then continuing, gonna check out the forest area.
Yeah, so Frostbite's route here, starting with Sanctuary and not even checking Link's house, is typically if you don't find bombs here in the Lost Woods, you just leave. He's picking up these rupees, though, so he may just continue on to Kakariko and buy bombs there.
And powder on Walther's side.
Yeah, so Walther's really putting this assured sword start to use here. He knew that he could get a reliable weapon at the uncle, so he goes straight to the uncle, or he already has a reliable weapon, so he goes straight to the front of escape, which is something a lot of players will try to put off for a long time. This takes, I think, about a minute and a half to go all the way through here for 3 chests, 2 of which might be the small key on the map.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of players who got into Randomizer early probably play a lot of Standard to start, and Escape is just something you do at the beginning of Standard. And I've definitely made the mistake before of playing Open and be like, oh man, I totally forgot Escape. It's a horrible feeling when.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird switch for most players. Standard was the standard way to play the game a while back, not too long ago when we had that standard tournament. But since then, you see a lot more open seeds than you used to. I'm starting to think,
learning how to do all the bomb setups.
Yeah.
In his.
I was gonna say, like, you might think Switching the seed to standard instead of open if you lost your first match might be like a really good play because people might have forgotten all those nifty little bomb strats.
True, true. It's also good if you're feeling a little tilted from the match before, like, forgetting to get Fire Rod and Spike Cave. It might be good to just go with standard so you don't really got to think. You just kind of go through the motions, get your head in the game, get your mental state all right.
Frostbite forgetting to buy the bombs. He meant to, he just forgot.
Walther opting to use the sword to take out the guard there, not using a pot.
Yeah, 8 slashes is decidedly faster than throwing 2 pots, but it has to be like a good 8 slashes. I thought he might Death Warp to get Dark Cross because you create this really weird situation when you do Front of Escape first, in that if there's a glove locked behind going to Dark Cross, you have to double dip the Front of Escape again. So usually when you see people go Front of Escape first, they'll Death Warp and do Dark Cross real quick.
You'd think there'd be some sort of progression in Kakariko, and right now in this cave, we got 5 checks.
Okay, Walther's route is weird. He's going South Shore? Yeah, he's going South Shore. Okay. This has become a more popular play recently, like in the last few months, so where you see people putting off Kakariko for longer than they used to.
Yeah, and also doing Moldorm Cave first before going to the dam. I wonder, people in the lab putting that together to be like, this is faster or not.
Well, the main thing with not doing the dam is that later you can pair it with a Gina, because if you leave a Gina by itself, you go back there last. That's the last thing you do because it's so slow. It's a single check. But if you skip the dam too, then it makes it a lot simpler to make that decision to go there. Walther getting immediately rewarded for going to Mini Moldorm Cave, finding both the flute and a bottle, the 2 things that you want to find before going to Kakariko.
Yeah, that's really nice. On Frostbite's side, he got the hammer. And Walther, of course, will inevitably get that soon enough.
Frostbite's saving quits at a Kakariko. Doesn't go down to check race game in the library. Skipping all the things.
Yeah, that's a little curious.
I'm super surprised that Walther's walking over here to Ice Rod Cave when he just got the flute. I feel like you just go back to Kakariko and then you can fly here right after you finished all those checks. Because there's no world in which he skips Kakariko the whole seed, right? He's always gonna full Kakariko, and you have all the things that make it as efficient as possible. Got a fair bit of money. He's still short for the Zor check though. I'm not sure what his plan here is. I feel it's pretty risky to already go to the Zor area. I mean, you have the flippers and that's great and everything. Oh, he's taking the whirlpool. Okay, this makes more sense.
Yeah, this was a nice idea. It does save you some time over saving and quitting and walking over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you tried to go to the Zor area before doing the 15 checks in Kakariko, that's it's just a little gambly because the odds of him finding enough rupees for Zor is so low.
Yeah, there are just so many things in Kakariko. You have to do it somewhat early.
Yeah, unfortunately, Houlihan's not really an option for our runners right now. They will need to find either the boots or the gloves to set up a Houlihan, because the flippers lock them out from doing the hop off the ledge one.
Have we had a map check yet from either player?
I haven't seen one. There's no reason not to map check. Honestly, it doesn't you're always gonna map check eventually. Lamp on the island. But I know I personally don't even think about map checking until I'm about to head into a dungeon. until it actually matters where the crystals and pendants are, I don't really think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, we're only 7 minutes into the game. We're not thinking, like, oh, what do I need for go mode? We're thinking, where the heck is my Dark World access? Just 20 rupees on the hobo. And Frostbite will save and quit from there.
Yeah, Moon Pearl is definitely on the mind right now. Where is the Moon Pearl?
And Frostbite's headed west to check the race game. I've never seen someone route this in this way before. Like, typically you just do race game after Kakariko. Like, you just walk down.
Yeah, and then from there save and quit and do something else. It seems like a good check, but this isn't so bad either.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a huge difference time-wise. Hey, progression. It is the Kana Samaria on the race game. It unfortunately doesn't do anything for us right now, but definitely will be needed later.
Yeah, in the last game, Walther had some nice kicks with the block in Ganon's tower that I thought were really, really...
It's not faster, he just does it for swag.
Yeah, swag matters, man.
So
All about swag.
it was Pendant Eastern. We saw map check from Walther, and the other two were regular crystals.
Yeah, and none of our runners have been to the eastern side of the map yet to check Sahasra's closet or to check eastern.
Yeah, those are definitely checks you typically try to put off until you have like more items, like the bow or the lamp or something. But it does end up being like one of the denser locations once you finish off Kakariko and South Shore. I'm a little worried about our rupee count right now because like early flippers usually means early flipper progression, right? Like usually there's something behind those flippers. And that might be on Zora, and nobody can afford that yet. Although Walther's getting fairly close.
Oh yeah, the magic bat as well.
Yeah, Walther turning in his first fetch quest. Early fetch quests in Rando, typically pretty strong plays. What's the word? Like the odds are really in favor of a fetch quest that you find super early, leading to progression. Like a mirror, for instance.
That's progression.
So that mirror will give Walther logical access to East Death Mountain, including Tower of Hera, although that might just be fire locked. Frostbite's just 17 rupees away from that Zora check.
Ugh. That hurts, because there is a warp right there. Now we're getting the eastern play, it looks like.
Where was the powder that Frostbite didn't get? It was the escape?
Yeah, it was the sewers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it must have been in the escape. Yeah, you look at it from Frostbite's point of view, and this is going to Sahasra and Eastern. It's guaranteed 5 items if you were to dip into Eastern as well, right? And up to 6. Where the escape is fewer, and a lot fewer of them are even in Logic. The Quake Medallion, I believe?
Yeah, that was Quake. But I think this is a good play. It's a dense amount of items, very quick.
Yeah, this is definitely the item density play here.
No mids yet, though.
Anytime you dip into a pendant dungeon, though, it does feel like a bigger gamble than most other checks. Usually it's not. Like there isn't a huge difference between dipping into Pendant Eastern and dipping into like front of Crystal Skull Woods or going to Mire Without the Cane or something, right?
Yeah, because I mean, if you're going to go in here, like this is what you have to do to get through the dungeon anyway. Whereas Skullwood, you can just dip in, get some chests, and get out. Eastern's pretty linear.
Yeah, and often with it being a pendant, and in this particular one, the only location that he can't reach is the boss. It's a pendant, you know? Maybe I don't have to go to the boss. And Frostbite finds the gloves in the first chest of Eastern.
Nice, nice find.
Those will probably be required, I would think. I mean, that's a joke. You need both gloves, guys, to finish the game.
This is a pretty interesting divergence, though, because now we have Frostbite and Eastern, Walther doing Death Mountain. Both make sense from what they have in their items. It's just a matter of how long will it take Frostbite to get the powder at this point in order to get the mirror, because I feel
Not
like
too
that's
long.
a critical item to get. Oh,
And
we have
yeah,
Moonpearl as
Walther
well.
sees the Moonpearl up on Spectral Rock Cave. So that completes our knowledge of Dark World access. As soon as either runner goes to where the other's already been, there will be Dark World access to be had. And we have Green Pendant Thieves and Pendant Swamp with reds on Skull and Ice. And Walther wasn't sure. He'd had to check again.
Yeah, I was hoping that pod would be a pendant, because then that makes the bow like really any.
So Frostbite saves and quits out of Eastern. Did he find 3 items, or is he just not want a sequence break? I wasn't counting.
Yeah, I don't have it either. Maybe chat will know.
I'm sure as soon as he found the glove, he was ready to leave.
True.
He did find 3 items. Okay. So that's a nice pendant dip then. So he'll never have to go back to Eastern unless like pedestal ends up being required, but you know, nobody wants that to happen. Except for Chad, I guess. Yeah, Walther unfortunately finds out that Hera is fire locked. He will not be able to progress through that crystal dungeon.
And nothing in the back of Escape. Though I think he has Zora money now.
Yeah, Frostbite doesn't have that many options now. He'll either do the Zora checks or he will go to front of Escape. Switches to the flute, so I'm thinking he's going to Zora. I mean, this makes a lot of sense for him. Like, this definitely makes more sense than dipping front of Escape right now. And with how early the flippers were, it's not like Walther is never going to come here. This is probably a location that Walther will be going very soon. Probably before he goes to Eastern.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Waterfall Fairy just having more money. Okay.
Well, that's good news for Walther. If he ends up like trying to do the Zora checks without Zora money, he'll just find it on the way.
Keep an eye on Walther's bombs also. Only 1 left. Alright, what does Paradox Cave have for us today?
Zora money is what it had.
Yeah, there's that money. And Zora was a bust as well, and Paradox Cave was a bust. Interesting.
Yeah. So I can't imagine Walther doing anything but going to the Zora area now. And Frostbite, he's kind of out of location. He's got to go front of Escape.
Yeah, neither of them are being able to take a lead at this point, and because they're really just covering each other's tracks, going to each other's locations in a different order, but mostly they're stride for stride.
Yeah, I mean, if we really wanted to call somebody having a lead, I'd say Walther has a tiny, minuscule edge right now because of the flute before going to Kakariko. But I mean, they're both going to do all the same checks. Like even after Frostbite finds Darkworld access from that Moon Pearl, he's going to continue on and do East of Mountain. Walther getting that information, the lamp on Hylia Island.
Yeah, that's our only fire source. Have not seen the fire rod yet.
They will have access to the lamp though as soon as they get Darkworld access with the flippers and mirror in hand.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any dark rooms today.
Well, I mean, we already did, didn't we? Didn't Walther do the old man?
Oh shoot, I don't even consider that one, because that one is
one
like the
doesn't
first
count.
dark room I learned. I'm like, oh yeah, that does count, I guess.
Obviously, when I say dark rooms, I mean all dark rooms but that one.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I like the start though for our point of view because they're both going to be pretty even following the start. It always feels really bad when there's already a significant difference between the runners after the first 20 minutes of the game because the Moon Pearl was just in a Gina or something.
Yeah, especially with these caliber runners, you want to see it close because they're both really, really good. Their execution is always on point.
I mean, Frostbite's pretty good, I guess. Walther, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm good friends with Walther, and he beats me in more races than I beat him in, for sure.
I do like the Grunkle stand. Good choice.
All right, Frostbite finishes up front of Escape, and all he got was a fetch quest. Back to Kakariko.
So yeah, Frostbite is gonna put the spices in the tomato soup. I mean the powder in the magic bat, and then he'll be the first one to get into Darkworld. Let's see.
So Walther going to do the dam that he had bypassed before, so he could pair it with the Gina. He doesn't need to pair them together anymore though, because he has the flute. I'm curious if he'll do a Gina before going up to the eastern area.
Nope, flute. Yeah.
Yep, Agina is the play. This could actually be really huge if Agina has progression, because we know we don't need it for Darkworld access, so Frostbite's going to get Darkworld access without having to go to Agina. But if Walther finds like the Ice Rod here, like who knows when Frostbite would ever come to this location. More than likely, it's just a piece of heart, though. Darn, it's the bow. That's pretty good, you guys!
That's not the Ice Rod.
Bow. It was not the Ice Rod, but it was a progression item, to be sure. Yeah, so like I was saying,
that might be a little tough for Frostbite.
Yeah, he's going to go through the old man. He's going to climb the mountain, find Moon Pearl. Hey, that's Darkworld access. Now I can go anywhere in the whole game that I want. Why would I ever go to Agina's cave?
Yeah, they're hopefully find something. That Frostbite finds something that pushes them towards the desert area, so doesn't miss out on that bow. Because now it's curious, what is the bow like hiding? Because the path that Walther goes down now is going to be, we're going to have another divergent.
Yeah, the typical time to check a Gina, if you didn't have to check it early, is either when you're walking to desert, like you said, or if you go to the mire area with the mirror. So they already have flute and mirrors, so if we just find mitts, Frostbite will likely be checking a Gina when he's in that area of the game. I don't think there's much danger of Walther like killing Armos Knights here, because with the 3 items right away, like that's a pretty silly thing to do. I can't imagine him doing that. And there is Darkhold access for Frostbite, but of course he's not gonna go to the Darkhold right away. We got so many checks here on the mountain, including Taravera.
Yeah, he's gonna find out that he's fire locked right now.
Now, if Walther wants to play a little aggressively, he would leave Eastern immediately after finding these gloves. But looks like he will be... No, he's leaving! Oh, playing a little aggressively. I like
Nice
it.
move.
This is a play that I'm actually a big fan of.
Yeah, it's aggressive, but I mean, at some point you're going to be back in pod. If you're still desperate looking for items, you can always just mirror back, go into Eastern, finish it out if you need to. So this makes a lot of sense.
Of course, it didn't save in as much time as it would in most seeds, with the 3 items being in the first 3 checks like that. But you know, any time save is worth getting against a player like Frostbite for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen races, I've commentated races where the final time was like 10 seconds apart. So you never know.
So Walther, even though he has Darkhold access, gonna dip into the back of escape here. This is a pretty standard back of escape. Is a location you can't really pair with anything else comfortably. So typically you just do it as soon as you get the gloves. Although, wasn't this just a small key in Dark Cross? No,
I believe so.
it was a small key in the back. No, he couldn't be here if it was a small key. Not thinking straight.
I think after this, I imagine Walther will do Hype Cave, then to Lamp, and maybe to Pod? Lamp being on the island.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the best move for him, but it's not the only one he could make. It looks like that is what he will be doing, though, starting with Hype Cave. I mean, these are runners who definitely don't need the lamp to get through the game, right? Like, they can do all the dark rooms, don't worry, you guys. But you kind of need a fire source, so you take what you can get.
Yeah, we already know Hera is fire locked, so you might as well pick it up. Because we have no idea where that fire rod is.
All right, and our runners have both completed all of each other's checks. Walther actually did 1 extra check in Agina's Cave, and Frostbite did 2 extra in Eastern. But they entered the Dark World right about the same time. Walther just a tiny little bit ahead. And we find a hook shot. Did somebody say Swamp Palace?
Yeah, really, you have the kit right now.
I mean, that's the play, right? You just go straight to Swamp right here. Oh, Walther, come on. You hate Swamp that much? It's a crystal, even.
It's a 5/6 crystal. Wait, no, that's Skull Woods.
You could have grabbed this lamp after Swamp. Oh wait, Swamp's a pendant. Oh, it's not marked as a pendant on the tracker. Never mind, this makes more sense now. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense when it's a pendant.
The big brain play.
The problem is there probably is progression in Swamp still, even though it is a pendant. But just because it's a pendant, our runners are not going to make that really aggressive play this early. They got other places to go. Especially Walther with that bow is able to full clear Crystal Pod.
Yeah, I think worst case for our runners would be left side Swamp having some sort of progression. Because that's like the last thing on your mind right now. But I like this pod play though. There's a lot of items in pod. It's full cleared and it's a pendant. I
Yeah,
think Frostbite agrees
typically,
as well.
yeah, typically early
Or
bow and
not.
lamp. Well, he doesn't have the bow, so it's a different. It looks a lot different to him.
That's right, that's right. That Agina's cave you were mentioning before, that's what had the bow, and that's looming large right now.
Yeah, early bow and lamp almost always leads to progression in pod. Not always, but basically always. Frostbite going after Dark Cross while he's here at the pyramid. I think it was just 20 rupees though.
Well, they're a little bit low on health, but there's nothing too crazy in pod that can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the only part of pod where like you might die is the Helmut Sword fight itself if you get like super bad RNG and make mistakes, and he'll have like 3 extra hearts minimum before he even gets to the boss from those pods. And we find the mitts on the bowlock side. Now this is very significant because if Frostbite does end up going to pod just as like an item dense location, he will have to sequence break without the bow to get to that progression.
Yeah, by the logic, they want you to go to Agina's cave, get that bow, come to pod, get the mitts.
Frostbite re-entering the Dark World south of Link's house. Is this to go left and mirror up to Thieves Town, or are we going Swamp Palace?
Well, let's see. Let's see this turn right here. Yeah, no, it's Swamp.
It's definitely Swamp. And again, this makes a lot of sense from the information that Frostbite has. If he knew where the bow was, he would definitely be going into pod with Walther. But without it, like Swamp looks like a really good place to be.
And if there is something in Swamp, I can't imagine Walther's going to end up at Swamp anytime soon. So finding some value here would definitely turn the tides.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those mitts open up way too many locations for Walther to make any trip over to Swamp soon.
I'm trying to think what would be the best item to get here. Boots, Fire Rod, and Swamp, I mean.
The Ice Rod. It's always the Ice Rod.
Oh, right. How could I?
If you want to find one thing in an out-of-the-way location, you want it to be the Ice Rod. Walther getting
in terms of what's clearable right now,
quite a lot.
Is clearable for Walther, I mean.
Yeah, Meyer will be full clearable if it is Quake to enter. We, of course, don't have that information yet. We could mirror into Desert, which may be full clearable if it's not Food Slot. We can now do Hera with our lamp. Possibly even step into Turtle Rock. In addition to, like, Pendant Thieves and Front of Skullwoods and all that stuff that we haven't seen at all yet.
Yeah, even though Thieves is a pendant, I feel like going in there is just a good idea. Just because you get those 4 chests early on before you even get to the boss key door. So it's just a nice, convenient location right in Kakariko.
Yeah, it's pretty uncommon for a seed to play out in such a way that a runner gets to completely skip, like, Front of Thieves and Village of Outcasts. So going there for dense locations always seems like a good idea. Frostbite, though, picking up the boots.
Yeah, what are
in
those?
The south chest. What are those indeed? That is a very big find for Frostbite. The boots do not lock very much in the game, so if they end up being required, it could be a very long time till Walther finds them. And
Also, gotta go
honestly,
fast.
even if they aren't required, the boots speed the game up. The longer you have the boots that your opponent don't, it just cuts into that lead. Of course, he had to spend a fair bit of time to get the boots in the first place.
We're only 30 minutes in though, so I mean, you're still going to be adding up a lot of time just by movement.
So there will be at least one item locked on left side swamp. Seeing that map confirms that. I'm not sure if you found the compass yet or not, though. So if it's a 1 or 2, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're not going to see him open his menu anytime soon.
Given Frostbite's reputation, though, as one of our more aggressive routers, like especially with that last seed, like not doing Spike Cave, I can't imagine he's going to go back in for left side swamp after he found the boots in here.
Frostbite with a nice start to the Argus fight, doing double pulls with the hook shot and getting this. Fighter Sword Argus is really tricky. Tricky to do fast, that is.
I'm trying to watch both fights at once, and it's not working. All right, Walther wins.
There was Elmosaur on the left was doing some movement to avoid those arrow shots, and second phase of Argus is not going as fast. Hammer's tough, so it's just the delay on the hit. So, the compass
it
is tough as well.
super
Now you know
awkward
there's 2 items
with the hammer.
On the left side.
2 items left side swamp. I mean, he might go back in for 2 items, but like the boots. You feel really good about finding the boots. Like, it's not as imperative that you go back in. He's gonna do it though.
Going back in.
And Walther finding the mitts in Palace of Darkness is not interested in dipping back into Eastern. So we know Eastern's empty, like he's not losing anything here. But from Walther's point of view, he's like, okay, I sure hope there's nothing in Eastern and I never have to come back.
For sure. Ether for Meyer.
All right, so no Meyer dip quite yet. So Walther will, of course, be mirroring over to check out Checkerboard and Desert Palace. And we need to pay very close attention on whether or not Desert is boots locked. Wall pump harder, Walther. There you
go. This is huge right here, this room.
Not boots locked. Aww.
That doesn't mean spell the end. It's clearable though, so that's going to be another crystal.
There are other boots locked locations that Frostbite might find progression at to make those boots required.
Big key on Ganon's Tower torch being the big one, which would be amazing.
So the boots are really, really nice. They do speed the game up, absolutely. But if they're not required at all, and Walther gets to completely skip Swamp, this is definitely a time loss. The boots are great, but they don't make up for a full clear Pendant Swamp.
Yeah, how long is checking left side of Swamp? It's definitely a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think it's about like half the time you spend in the dungeon is for left side Swamp. It's even more when you have to go back to the big chest. Wow. That Agina's play, that Agina's cave check being the difference maker right now. Bo and Agina lead into those mitts in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, and as a reminder, this is game 2. Walther won the first
Oh!
game earlier today, so if he wins, he's gonna win this winners finals map in
The other
Group G.
Bo. It's the other Bo.
Wait, what? I missed that. Are you serious?
Yeah, the big chest locked behind left side swamp was the other Bo. Well, Frostbite doesn't have to go to Agina's cave anymore.
This is like the big brain play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
from Frostbite's point of view, like, he's ahead, right? He's like, oh man, I just got the bow in a really trolly location. There's no way Walther's doing this. But little does he know, the other bow is just in Agina's cave. And Walther did do that.
And I think progressive bows, that was first added in V31, correct?
That is right. There is still a chance that those boots will end up being required.
And if Frostbite does get to Agina's cave, having silvers, it's not an insignificant amount of time that you'll save, because we still only have fighter sword.
Yeah, definitely.
Master Sword Silverless Ganon is a big time commitment.
It really won't be like that big a deal, like silvers versus not silvers for the Ganon fight, but I can see it definitely being a big difference maker for like the Vitreous fight. I mean, odds are pretty good we're going to end this game with Tempered or Butter Sword, because most seeds end with Tempered or Butter Sword.
I have been in the situation before where you're trying to get through Vidi with bombs. It doesn't feel great.
Walther having to go back to his portal. He's going to go check checkerboard now. And I believe Desert ended up being empty, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was nothing significant in there. There was 5 rupees and some other item that was on a...
Crystal is a crystal, though.
Yeah, Needle 7.
You need those arrows, Walther. You only have 14. All right, he's going to gamble. He's going to gamble that he doesn't need them. All right.
Such a gamble.
All right, looks like Walther's headed back up the mountain, this time with mitts and hookshot. Oh, yeah, and a fire source for Hera. Although with the hookshot, he can now Hera pot if he really, really wanted to.
That's right, we saw them do it in game 1.
Yeah, Hera pot's definitely an interesting tech when it comes to like the meta of the game and like what will your opponent do versus what will you do. Like it's pretty standard to Hera pot if you're in Hera, can do it and you don't have a fire source, right? But to do it just hoping that there isn't something in the big chest is a very different kind of play. I have no idea what Walther's doing.
Really want to
He's buying a potion, I guess. For what? All right.
Yeah, he has the bow. He doesn't need the red potion for the... Oh, he already did that pod part, too. Yeah, just for safety, I guess.
Okay. I that's really... I mean, okay, so, like, when I look at, like, a runner like Walther, it seems weird that he's grabbing a potion at this point, because he's not going anywhere where he's probably going to need a potion. But then, secondly, he has the flute. He can just go to the potion shop whenever he wants. So True. It's weird to see him, like, bomb open this shop right here. But who knows? Maybe this potion will become the difference maker. Oh, it's for Spike Cave. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't have
he just didn't think about Spike Cave before he came to the mountain. That's what it was. And he figured since he was already here.
Frostbite heading into Helmosaur now, and Walther, we're gonna get a check to see what the medallion is for Turtle Rock.
Checking Spike Cave's won Walther the race last seed, so I can't imagine him skipping it this time, I guess.
Vamos for Turtle Rock. So we don't have either medallion. Quake is useless. Alright, and that is the first crystal for Frostbite. Gotta feel good getting your first crystal in.
Not at 42 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that part.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too abnormal for your first crystal to be like 42 minutes. It just means it's a slower seed.
And game one was a slower seed. At what point do you think like mental fatigue sits in? That
For
was
me, it's
Bommos
the
and
third
Walther for
seed.
Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, the key to Turtle Rock sitting right outside.
Do you dip Turtle Rock here? Do you really just
No,
check
not
in
right
there
now.
for one
No
chest on
way.
the left, maybe?
No way. No, are you serious, Walther?
Called it.
Gosh, this seems so inconsistent though. Because like, you remember he dipped out of Eastern after one chest, and now he's dipping back into Turtle Rock without the Fire Rod or Ice Rod when he has to like mirror and re-enter the Dark World.
I'm pretty sure Walter's just rolling some dice to make decisions and then
I mean,
just going with
this isn't a bad plan. I'm not saying it's a bad plan. I'm saying it's inconsistent with his previous actions.
Well, we can only trust in Walter. He was right. I think he made the right play with Eastern. Let's see if it pays off here with Turtle Rock. I have seen Fire Rod in that first chest in the bottom left of the first big room in Turtle Rock.
I can't argue with that act of okay.
Yeah, I just saw that in chat.
And it is a small key in the first chest. Walther will be able to continue for at least one more check. Small key is definitely not what you want to see. When you make this play without the Fire Rod, you want one of two things to happen. The first chest is either progression or not a key. Everything else is the worst thing that ever happened. Especially when you have to kill Pokies with a hammer.
You could use Bommos here. Bommos would take it out really fast. Oh, another key.
Another key.
Further down we go.
All right, one more key. We'll get him all the way to Mimic Cave now. If this is Vanilla Big Key, we might end up saying Laser Bridge. Pick up the arrows. All right, if Walther runs out of arrows, just remember that I said so. Frostbite, of course, is over in the Mire area. Learns he can't get into Mire, but heading through Desert now, where he finds out that the boots weren't required. Of course, he still feels good about that swamp play, right? Because he got the bow. And as far as he knows, that's the only bow. Okay, no
yeah,
big...
there's also a decent chance he's got to go to Aguinas anyway and get silvers after he's done with Desert.
Yeah, so no Vanilla Big Key, so Walther will be stopped at Crystal Roll, or at Mimic Cave. This is super unfortunate, though, because remember, he wanted to do Spike Cave, but going outside to do Mimic Cave means he now can no longer mirror back to the front. So if he wants to do Spike Cave, he has to reclimb the mountain.
Still might be worth doing the mountain again, just because you can clear Tower of Hera.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely do it. All right, this is Walter's moment of truth. Was this all just a waste of time?
Yeah, this is the last chest that can make this play worth it.
5 whole rupees! OMG.
I
Oh,
mean, I like
Walter's
money, but it doesn't really
floating
help you get through the
away?
game.
Maybe he's just... Okay, well... he walked into his portal.
You did put it right in the door. Yeah, he was asking for that one.
Okay, he's gonna reclimb. There's no way this is faster. Right?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
trying
sure.
to think. Like, I'm pretty sure fluting would have been faster.
Well, like, Paradox Cave should have been faster than this. I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, they'll both get him to Hera either way, and that's what's important here.
Frostbite, meanwhile, doing hammer strats on Lamolas, which is fun to see.
Walther entering that portal from the right for the quick warp.
So yeah, I would imagine Hera first, then Spike Cave. Then hopefully we found something at that point.
All right, Frostbite finishing up at Desert Palace. Does he mirror over to Agina's Cave? Agina's Cave is still like a slow check. He may skip it.
Coffee break time for Walther.
Yeah, no Hera pot. All right, he's going into Agina.
Right, so that'll give him silvers, and that's always nice.
Yeah, it also gives him information that his pendant swamp dive was really just boots, and the bow wasn't needed at all. Although silvers are nice to have. So if I'm Frostbite at this point, I'm thinking, oh my god, I really hope these boots are required, because otherwise I just wasted a lot of time in swamp.
Yeah, it's not often you find silvers and you're just like, oh no.
So the mountain's definitely the superior play here for Frostbite, but I would definitely be thinking about doing the boots checks real quick just to see what's there.
Yeah, I don't think Frostbite has done Bonk Rocks, right?
No, he hasn't done Bonk or Kingston. Of course, you know, it being a 1v1 race, it's a little different. Like, your opponent is much more likely to have just done the same thing that you did, right? Compared to like a big group race where you know somebody didn't. Somebody made the play.
Yeah, I feel like based on both of the information that each of the runner received when they received it, both of them are making very sound plays, not leaving anything behind, grouping things very well together. So it's going to be a while before we know who's like in the lead or anything like that, because I feel like the plays have been pretty sound.
I'm okay, Walther. I don't know what you're doing, buddy.
Yeah, what went on there?
He did the bumper skip walking. He did the walk skip for the bumper, but with his sword held out. And I don't know. Sure.
Swag, man. Nothing but swag.
He's a weird cookie.
Moldarm, please. Okay.
Alright, so Frostbite is in that same position Walther was in. He can now reopen or enter the Dark World and go into TR. And he's doing it! Oh my god.
Nope, just checking.
Oh, okay.
He hadn't actually checked the bombos yet. So that was a huge decision right there.
Yeah, that's definitely a big time jump over Walther.
Nice job using the hook shot as well to avoid that Lionel shot. Always looks pretty.
Chat brings up a good point. He might just go into TR after doing Tower of Hera. I don't know, like if you're Frostbite and skipping Spike Cave cost you the race like an hour ago, do you do it again?
How many hearts do you need to get through Spike Cave without any defense?
With the hook shot?
Yeah,
Like,
with the hook. Oh yeah, they do it the hook shot, so
like 13, I think. Like the hook shot no boost would be like 13, I think.
well, I asked because like, Frostbite doesn't have any potions, I believe.
You can save a couple hearts off of it with like good dashes. It's really difficult though to do the dashes properly. But yeah, you're right. He might just not do Spike Cave just because like Spike Cave sucks with his current equipment and
Walther
have
just
nothing to
bought a
do with
heart,
what happened
by the
last
way.
seed.
That was fun.
I mean, if you're right there,
I know. Just
and
how
make
often do you
sure.
see someone buy a heart? It's great.
And guys, I just avert your eyes from Walther's rupee count.
Sign of the Beast.
It's an omen. Oh, Walther making the Ice Palace play here. This definitely makes the most sense for him. It's the only crystal he has right now that he can full clear. And how many times have we seen Fire Rod and Bombas locking each other in this dungeon?
Yeah, it's never great. But it's the Cold Stare fight's gonna be interesting. No Fire Rod, only Fighter Sword and Hammer. That's tight.
That's one way to do the bomb shred.
It looked cool.
He fudged it a little bit, but he made it work.
Clean Moldorm kill from Frostbite. That's gonna be their third crystal.
Yeah, that turtle rock dip, it definitely cost Walther a lot of time. Frostbite's still behind. The turtle rock dip was definitely slower than the swamp dip, or faster than the swamp dip. But every second those boots are cutting into that lead. So Frostbite doesn't go into TR or Spike Cave, immediately leaving the mountain. And it looks like we are getting boots checks.
Yeah, this time not checking Spike Cave will not cost Frostbite. Walther having a little trouble with the bomb jump here and running low on HP. I believe they have a potion, though. Yeah, 2 bombs, a heart and a half.
It feels really bad to have to use a potion because of the Ice Palace bomb jump.
First try. Boots were in Swamp.
Alright, and our last boots check was just a bottle. The boots didn't lock anything. So barring the Gainus Tower Big Key being on the torch, boots will, or Swamp Palace itself will not be required this seed in any capacity.
Yeah, and I'm sure Frostbite knows that right now and just knows that that was a lot of time sinking.
Well,
you don't know if Walther made that play.
I guess pedestal's still a thing.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I guess.
We are getting closer to go mode. We still need Ether, still need Fire Rod, and still need a Master Sword, frankly.
And the Ice Rod.
Ice Rod, yep.
Frostbite going for the hookshot strats, but he also made a little error there and accidentally hooked to the terrain, but gets it done without too much trouble. Ice Bell is still empty, but this is the first time our runners have been in the same dungeon at the same time.
Yeah, the routing to Ice Palace always changes drastically depending on where you get your keys. Oh, Walther, the door. There you go.
Drunkle Stan with the moves.
I knew that guy could dance.
Still nothing.
I'm actually a little surprised that no one has gone to Thieves Town or just Dark Kakariko in general.
They just had better options. Like both of them this entire time have had just crystals to go do, or dungeons to full clear.
Yeah, I agree. If you can full clear a crystal dungeon, I feel like that's the play I'm gonna make every time.
Frostbite having his own trouble with the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. He's down to 4 hearts.
Frostbite does have a fairy though, because that wasn't the bottle in Bonk Rocks.
And more rupees here in Ice Palace. Was that our third item? I think it was, yeah. We were missing the map.
So Colster will be a little interesting. Walther does have a lot of hearts, but you just have limited options on how to take out Colster here.
Yeah, hammer is definitely the go-to item. It's still something stupid like, I don't know the number, like 8 hammer hits to kill a puff, I think.
Maybe I never remember.
I'm not sure the numbers.
I don't play a lot of swordless to begin with, and usually you start with a spin slash with a fighter sword even, just because they're all bunched up there. That's a nice easy hit.
I don't know the numbers for Colster. It's just you keep hammering until they die.
Generally a good strat. Just hit it till it dies.
Even on Blue Mill, though, this is a very terrifying situation. Like, yeah, they do 3 hearts on Blue Mill. Walther can take 1 more hit.
Very nice. Yeah, you don't want to die on Colster. That's a huge time loss. It's brutal. But that's over now. Got one of the 5/6 crystals.
So where do you go from here if you're Walther? You still have lots of options. Like you were saying before, the Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts area is very dense. He has access to the whole Smith sequence. Haven't seen Skull Woods, haven't seen Catfish.
Yeah, I feel like Village of Outcasts has got to be the play. It's just a lot of chests there. It's the most chest density that's remaining. Or was this Swamp? What is this?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go Swamp.
Nice bomb jump there from Frostbite.
If Walther is going into Swamp, though, this means Frostbite takes the lead. Because they'll have done the same things, except Walther had that really unfortunate TR dip, and Frostbite had the boots for longer.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
Is definitely Swamp. Unless he just gets the boots and leaves, but I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, it's such a commitment to get into Swamp. I feel like when you're here, it's just it's hard to just partially dip it at this point. The question will be, will Walther check out left side swamp? Because Frostbite did make that move.
I'm super surprised Walther's going swamp here. Like I was saying before, the Village of Outcast checks and front four of Thieves Town and stuff, like those do cost time. Like it's not free to go do those, but those are checks that almost always get checked by everyone in every race, right? It's pretty uncommon to have a seed where you get to skip them completely. So I feel like doing those first would be a lot safer than dipping straight into swamp, because you could just do swamp right after if there was nothing there.
Yeah, swamp is definitely the more aggressive gamble, in my opinion. Oh, Frostbite down to 1 heart, 1.5 hearts, half a heart.
Frostbite, please. I think he has a
Okay,
fairy,
okay,
isn't
we're
he?
good. Yeah, Frostbite did have a fairy there from getting the bottle in
He was
Bogrox, but
fine.
it's nice to hold on to that fairy if you get.
So for Frostbite, like he still has like that TR dip on his mind. He's like, I could walk into TR, but it's horrible. So I think he will go. Okay, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He's probably just going. He's probably going south or like west and then north, like going to Village of Outcast, but from the bottom.
Oh yeah, kill your K45 check, and check Stumpy, do the race game, then move up. Not the race game, the digging game.
And Walther is not leaving Swamp after finding the boots, although I didn't really expect him to do that. The boots just aren't good enough, to be quite honest, to just leave.
The boots are good enough in my heart.
Oh, Ether just sitting on Stumpy.
Wow, that could have even gotten a lot earlier. All right, so that opens up Meyer. Oh,
And the Master Sword right next to it.
Sacred Grove is loaded. All right, so what's going through Frostbite's mind right now? Knowing that this might have been a check that Walther checks earlier.
Well, I'm gonna check K45.
Yeah, Master Sword and Ether, and you know Ether at this point is how you get into Meyer.
I'm curious if he'll go over and do a dig game too. I think he'd probably skip it though. Yeah, he's skipping it.
So I guess Meyer is the play right now. Yep, full clearable, Crystal Dungeon.
I would definitely have thought about doing dig game because I'd be thinking like, well, when I come back to Village of Outcasts, I want to do Smith Sequence, and if I don't do dig game right now, I'm going to have to either skip it forever or do it before Smith Sequence when I'm here next time, which is slower because you have to like walk down and up again.
Yeah, that was definitely the closest you were going to get.
Throw the
Bird
burb.
toss? Bird toss?
Throw the burb. Throw the burb. Frostbite. Frostbite. Ah. He's got to save the frames, you guys. He ain't here to play around. He's
already down a game. He's got to win this one.
0-1.
No time wasted. This room on the right, though, of Frostbite is always really sweet when done fast with the sword beams.
Yeah, unfortunately, no fire rod or ice rod to make it really fast. I know there's some Mario strats you can do too, but I don't know them.
And Walther on the left side doing the double pickup with the hook shot with fighter sword spins. Not going as fast as he's like, most likely, but still getting through it.
He switches to the bow. I'm not sure what he plans to do with that.
Snipe.
He's not. You can't hurt him with the regular arrows.
He has chosen the hunter class.
All right, Walther takes down Pendant Argus, but is he going back in for left side swamp?
Yeah, there's two. We know there's nothing really there, but the two items. It's really I feel like you gotta do it. And no, believe.
No, the boots are good enough, he says.
All right, so no silvers then for Walther in this game.
There is like a possibility he might come back here later, but yeah, I think you're right. He's not going to have silvers when he fights Ganon.
Did you know how many items Frostbite's found?
No,
Mire?
I do not.
Vanilla Big Key in Mire as well.
It's always fun. I mean, the one nice thing about it being Vanilla Big Key is that you know Walther has to do it too.
Yeah, so if Walther somehow ends up being able to go mode Mire, that's not going to save him a lot of time.
So Walther, after getting access to Mire, is continuing on to do Dig Game. But I think this is it. I think he'll leave after Dig Game.
Oh, this is a lot of digs.
Just 300 rupees. Oh, I am incorrect. He is continuing on to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, this could be a big turning point here as well. Just because that was the key decision point for Frostbite as well.
Well, the thing is, like, Frostbite, if Frostbite gets nothing in Mire here, he just goes back to Village of Outcasts, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And because Mire's a crystal, like, Walther's going to have to come here and do all this anyway.
The setting chosen by Frostbite for this game was to take a sword assured. So nothing too crazy.
Mire's been pretty empty so far. But I'm not sure of the item count, if there is an item left on the boss.
I believe so. He has both the map and the compass.
Where do Walther's bombs keep going? I've seen him buy bombs, a 10-pack of bombs, twice this seed, and he's
I'm
down
pretty
to
sure there's
one
like a
again.
dozen in Ice Palace. Just left him right there.
Yeah, because remember he bought the bombs north of Lake Hylia at the start of the game, and then he bought them again in Paradox Cave.
So the Smith chain didn't have anything useful, it seems like. And now Walther making the Mire play just as Frostbite is wrapping up Mire themselves.
It's such an unusual play to like do the Smith chain, and just the Smith chain like that.
In this case, I get it though. I just based on what they're going after, and especially Thieves' Town being a pendant, trying to hold that off.
Throw the burb! Throw the burb!
Yes, chance.
Throw the burb! Walther! Hey! Oh,
No, okay.
I mean, it's better than doing nothing, I guess.
Acknowledged.
He knows what we wanted. And so we got a book in Mire, I think is what happened.
Yes.
I was distracted
We
by
are now literate.
or lack thereof. Frostbite's immediately going to pedestal.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Maybe Swamp wasn't the worst play in the world after all.
Can you imagine?
Pedestal is completely in logic right now. We have all the items for all 3 pendants.
Yeah, I understand this. It's in the back of your mind. It's just like an earworm right now, just telling you, gotta do ped, gotta get the pendants. So just get that out of your mind right now. Here we go. Triple bombs.
Head's dead.
It's always triple bombs.
Head's dead. Use the emote. Who's got this big giving emote? Walter eats the bombs. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so from here, Frostbite's just going to do some overworld, maybe dip Thieves Town. Front of Skullwood still doesn't look very appetizing.
Yeah, only 2 items in Skullwoods, and no fire rod, not completable. It's, yeah, not attractive. Oh, there's your fire rod.
Nice.
And he's gonna dip Thieves Town as well.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's just
still
the
missing
front.
the ice rod. Yeah, I'm sure he'll just do first 4, but still missing the ice rod. It doesn't feel good to like, you know, skip these more convenient overworld checks. Like he probably won't do Smith sequence, but like skipping C-shaped house and brewery is a little risky.
Yeah, no doubt. And all we need right now is just ice rod. Isn't that how it always is?
Yeah, it's pretty gross, you know, when for Frostpoint's point of view, like I lose the first race because Spike Cave completely hoses me, and then I get Ice Rod Go mode for my second race.
Feels bad, man.
Why can't I just have like a nice seed? Just give me a seed where there's progression in Crystal Dungeons, man. That's all I want.
Oh no, it's pretty healthy seed. What was that? 14 hearts for Frostbite.
And he doesn't check brewery.
True.
I mean, he can just do it later with Smith sequence.
Frostbite also hasn't done the digging game, so we'll have to go down there at some point.
Yeah, that's the gross part about having skip digging games. Like, if you want to do Smith sequence and digging game, you have to do dig game first. It's just, it makes it like more awkward to route it.
For sure. We know digging game has only 300 rupees.
Yeah, so Frostbite's in... Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, you got it.
Oh, I was gonna say Frostbite is in Ice Rod Go mode. He needs the Ice Rod to finish the game, and he hasn't been in Turtle Rock at all. The standard play, the meta play, what you expect most top runners to do in this situation is open stuff on the way and go straight to Turtle Rock. So he'll probably get both items here out of Skullwoods and then just immediately go to the mountain and hope the Ice Rod's there.
Might want to check Pyramid Fairy first, because Skullwoods is the other 5/6 crystal.
Oh no, you definitely can't do that. That's way too slow for 2 checks. Like, if he's skipping Brewery, he's skipping Pyramid Fairy.
Has Pyramid been... I think Pyramid was checked, if I recall.
Oh, you know, I'm not too sure. I don't think so. No, Frostbite did it. You're right, because he mirrored to Front of Escape.
Right, because he didn't have the bow and didn't go to pod and then walked over. Yeah.
Down goes Mothula.
That was fast.
And without the silvers, Walther having to do Master Sword spins on this fight, which is painful.
Yeah, down to 2 hearts already. Oh, that lightning
nearly
strike.
dodges that laser.
That could have been real bad.
Remember those 5 arrows he didn't pick up in Turtle Rock?
There it is.
Uh,
Look at his bomb count also.
I know!
High bomb count.
Walter's gonna buy bombs for a 3rd time this seed. Alright, Frostbite finishes up Skull Woods, and we're going Turtle Rock.
Yeah, not finishing out Village Outcast, not doing Pyramid Fairy, just banking on Ice Rod, being in Turtle Rock. Can't fault the play here. I feel like I would do the same thing.
No, I think this
If
is...
you're right,
this
that's
is
GG
definitely
right there.
It's definitely the statistically most likely location for the ice rod.
Yeah, definitely a gamble. I wouldn't say it's like insane, but it's definitely there's definitely some risk here.
Honestly, this is the safer play. Well, I mean,
Not safer, but the more likely outcome is what's happening.
The only like really horrible thing that could happen to Frostbite is if the ice rod is mirror locked at Bobo's Tablet or Graveyard Ledge. Because anywhere else he'll be able to save this portal if it's not in TR.
Yeah, Meyer did give us that book that unlocked the tablets. And when Walther comes here, it's going to be a little bit faster for them because they've already checked some of the chests in that initial TR dip much earlier in the seed.
Well, they're going to check pedestal as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with the penance being open to you, you gotta rule it out.
Yeah, in addition to, like, he feels bad about the swamp dip, same as Frostbite did, right? When you learn that the boots didn't lock anything at all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the fire rod locked section of TR had the compass and the big key.
Yeah, so
I guess we knew that
all the
had
items.
The big key.
Yeah, all the items are in the back. But we'll get to see how aggressive Walther wants to play after he finds his fire rod.
And I guess also by the logic, you can't do laser bridge. Not that that's gonna stop these runners, but no camper.
That's changed.
Oh, that's one of the V31 changes.
Yeah, so the tournament's all going to be in the advanced item placement, which does not require anything for laser bridge.
That's right.
Except the lamp and the Canismari, I guess, and the hammer and
I did forget about that one. That's an important distinction.
And the mitts and some way to get up the mountain. But other than that,
other than that long list of things you just said.
So we know that if Walther decides to just go to Turtle Rock the same as Frostbite did, the race ends, right? Like, essentially, because Walther is pretty significantly behind at this point. So we want him to do things that are not go to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and Walther. Well, it's gonna be curious here if Walther continues on to go through Thieves Town.
I cannot imagine he'd do that, though.
Doesn't look like it though.
He will probably check Brewery. Or maybe not. He's going to C-shaped house. Or did he already do Brewery? I might have missed it.
I didn't see it, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, heart piece according to chat.
Oh, he already did. Okay.
Thank you, chat.
Walter's saving grace right now is if he just happens to find the ice rod outside of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all we need for go mode, and it's the same for both players. Just where is the ice rod?
I don't believe we've seen Bumper Cave, but we don't have the cape anyway.
Yeah, I guess we can briefly talk about what we haven't, like still available. Like we have tablets, we have Laser Bridge. What else are we missing? Back in Thieves Town.
Graveyard Ledge.
Eastern has all. We know the 3 items in Eastern.
The cape in TR.
And yeah, we actually haven't checked even the Bumper Cave ledge. We don't know what's there. Alright, Walther going to beat Martha right now, and this is the big moment of truth for Frostbite. Is Ice Ride here on Laser Bridge?
Well, we got a map.
Mirror shield? Okay.
We got some iframes.
Tempered?
Tempered's nice, I guess.
Last chest.
Oh my gosh. He's doing it on purpose.
Oh, it's there!
Oh, it's the ice rod on Laser Bridge.
Wow. So barring any major mistakes, we could be looking at a game 3. I gotta say, the way Frostbite played this seed was pretty great. The only real time sink that was potentially unnecessary was Swamp Palace.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't like on the god route or anything. He didn't luck into victory, but like he played the seed real well, followed the items as he found them, made the plays that made the most sense for him at the time, and it just kind of worked out. Walther basically did the same thing. Honestly, the largest differences between them was Walther's early dip into Turtle Rock. The key layout just made that such a huge time sink that led to nothing. And Frostbite dipping Swamp before Walther meant that he had the boots for like a good half hour at least before Walther did, which just compounded that lead.
Yeah, Frostbite's pretty well set up now. You got Tempered, you got Silvers, got a lot of hearts. This should be a breeze to go through Ganon's Tower.
And we're headed to Ganon's Tower right now. And I see Chad is spamming numbers.
What do those numbers mean?
Well, so in Ganon's Tower, there are 22 different RNG placements of the big key. I said that really weird. There's 22 places the big key could be. And Chad is guessing in which one The big- I'm just gonna shut up now.
The numbers, what do they mean? But yeah, we're gonna guess where the big key is.
Frostbite going to Hope Room first.
Single rupee.
And continuing on to the right side.
Do tile room, you coward.
Nah, you find the ice rod on Laser Bridge after skipping like 15 things in the overworld. You do not do Tower Room. And Walter honestly, he's doing the play he needed to do to win the race. Unfortunately, there was no chance with the ice rod being where it was. It's just if he had gone to TR, he definitely doesn't win, right? Because Frostbite has such a lead.
Yep, and there was the big key for
so he needed to
Frostbite. I
play for the
believe
ice
that was
rod.
chest number 6. So full right was definitely the play. Frostbite making all the plays in this game. And yes, that does confirm that boots were useless in this game, aside from making you go fast.
I still maintain it would have been faster for either runner to completely skip Swamp Palace, but I don't know. With where the items were, it would been really difficult to skip Swamp this seed.
Yeah, because I feel like you would check Swamp,
I mean, honestly,
most
though,
likely, knowing that Ice Rod ended up being in Turtle Rock.
I recall when Walther went to Swamp, I remember we thought it was like unusual that he did that before going to Village of Outcast first, because he could have just done Swamp on the way out.
Yeah.
I think it might have played out differently if he had done that. Like if he found the Fire Rod, maybe he just ends up never going to Swamp.
No, that's a very good point. Okay, Gauntlet on Frostbite's side, making quick work. Really nice Fire Rod strats and some good slashes. One cycle Lamolus as well, very nice.
Unfortunately, Walter's run out of things to check. Oh no, he's going up to Ether Tablet. He's almost run out of things to check before he has to go to TR for that ice rod.
Big key was on the right side in the room with the 4 chests.
The compass room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. More bombs. I mean, Walther, the way Walther has been playing, the bombs may be a good item to get.
Yeah, it does look a little weird to like an outside observer. Like, why is Walther doing all these checks instead of just going to TR? When like going to TR is like the obvious play. And the answer is, I'm sure Walther knows that the ice rod is probably in TR, and he's known this whole time. But he also knows that he already went to TR, and if the ice rod is in TR, he probably doesn't win this game. So he was just making the play that gave him the best chance of winning, even if it was the lower percent probability.
Yeah, because worst case, if he did do TR as well and Ice Rod wasn't there, that means you're triple dipping TR, and it's hard to win when you're triple dipping TR and it wasn't required to do so. This Ganon's tower from Frostbite has been really clean. Let's see how this Aghanim 2 fight goes. That's a triple. 2, 3, 1. That was sweet.
Yeah, very nice patterns there.
Alright, so here's the Ganon fight. Should be pretty straightforward. Tempered and silvers and half magic. Should be pretty easy.
Switches the cape a little late there. So he takes a hit from the fire bats, but no biggie.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna take damage, that's the form you're gonna take it on, most likely.
Stop warping, you coward! Ganon, please. Ganon, please.
I haven't been counting.
Oh
I hope
my
someone-
gosh!
This is-
Stop
wow.
it, Ganon! Oh, thank you. Silver 1. Torch glitch. This is swipe. Silver 2. And that will seal Ganon's fate.
Yeah, nice double there to finish. Yeah, get those GGs out in chat. Frostbite just blazed through this last part of this seed. And see.
GG Frostbite3030. Taking game 2 in our best of 3 series. Tying it up. There will be a game 3.
I like the Samaria play from Walther with the 1 heart.
And Walther finds his Go Mode Ice Rod on Laser Bridge. Where was the Force Sword? I have no idea.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Not exactly sure.
Oh, was it in Skullwoods? Okay. Yeah, 'cause Frostbite just killed the boss and then left.
I see Frostbite in setup. Frostbite, Walther, welcome. Welcome. How'd you
Thank
feel
you.
about that game 2 there?
Yo, thanks.
Yeah, GG's, Walt. That was those 2 seeds were a little bit interesting, I would say. Sorry for. Of course, I was listening to the rematch on the end of the seed on my iPad, and I had those headphones on, and I came in here, and I'm like, why can't I hear anybody talking on the thing? And I realized that I'm an idiot. But no, that was like super frustrating, and then the second seed was a little less frustrating, but equally still sort of frustrating. But yeah, it was an awesome match. Obviously, I think Walter's a super good runner, and we've played in a bunch of races together in the league and whatnot. And I've watched him a bunch, and wasn't expecting to go 2-0. Wasn't we actually were joking when we set this up that our future selves would have to worry about setting up game 3 in a couple days when we have some more time. And yeah, I mean, I'm super salty about the first one because I feel like we both probably felt we were so far behind the other one that we kept making more and more inefficient plays until we finally got to our go modes. And then in the second one, basically, it looked like exactly as you guys said on the restream. It looked like Walt went into TR early and obviously had to take that into consideration in the end game when he was playing as well. So, yeah, it was interesting. He never found the silver arrows. So, like, I was so happy that I went into Swamp Palace early because not only did I get the boots, but the bow was in the big chest locked by the big key on the left side. And I was like, oh my god, this is so good. Until like 20 minutes later when I found that stupid other bow just sitting in my least favorite place in the world in a Gina's cave. But
yeah, Walther actually had the Gina's Cave bow before Darkbolt access.
Oh, dang.
So when he got Darkbolt access, Swamp didn't look very good because he could full clear pot.
Oh, for sure. That's actually, that kind of, I don't even know if it lucked out. I feel like the fact that we both did Swamp and I did it earlier, which meant I had the boots longer, was good. But, I mean, obviously the ideal route, you know, if you're spoiler logging this thing, you're never touching Swamp Palace, right? So, but no, I felt like I played okay. I was, you know, I was a little worried about Fire Rod, and then I turned it on, and I guess we both kind of did the same thing and just avoided the Village of Outcasts, because, like, I tried to, I mean, I'm sort of prone to avoiding it as just a rule anyways, when I can do a bunch of other things, and it's Pendant Thieves Town. And then, you know, I found Ether on my way there, so I bailed, and then I think I found, the Fire Rod was in the chess game, and I got that, like, hour and 10 minutes or something, and I was like, oh god, this is so bad. This is all I've been looking for quote-unquote go mode so that I can YOLO TR for quite some time now. But no, I felt I played okay, and definitely got fortunate in the first one, and a little bit unfortunate, or fortunate in the last one, and a little unfortunate in the first one, and super looking forward to the next games.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This second game was definitely very, very fortunate. You played exquisitely though, and I think your Gans Tower run was really good to see. Like, that gauntlet was great. I guess a question for Walther: when did you know in the back of your head that Ice Rod was in Turtle Rock?
Pretty soon, I think. I wanted to do the mirror checks just in case. I was planning on skipping, saving the portal if it wasn't in Turtle Rock, but it takes a while to get in all of those mirror locations in a somewhat efficient way. But yeah, I guess I went up to the mountain fairly early again because I just wanted to have the information on what do I need for go mode, because it wasn't much that we were missing early on for go mode. And then when Bombus was up there, I was like, well, I guess I'll just go in and check the first chest, and it just dragged me in further.
Yeah, the big kind of kept going there. And Walther, also for the first game, when you found the flute in the waterfall fair, which both of you found pretty late, actually.
Yeah.
Did you feel behind in that moment?
I felt behind the entire race in the first one, I felt.
Yeah, when was the last time you want to see that it almost hit the 2-hour mark?
I don't know, but yeah, I was trying to do the Ancilla splash deletion, but unfortunately I did a current jump to get over there first, and I failed the current jump 7 times or something, so I only had 3 bombs when I got over there, and I just dropped my bombs in the water, and I was like, oh my god, this is 100% gonna be something. And then I came back later to get the flute, and I was like, yeah, well, this game is over for sure.
Yeah, well,
the only out I felt I had in that game was that Frostbite would have missed the Fire Rod, which apparently he did, if need to be, from what I heard.
Yeah, for sure. I was planning on going to Spike Cave, and then I found Bombos in, I guess it was Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny Cave, and I was like, I'll just go check the first chest at TR. And then I got into Mimic Cave, and I was just I felt really bad, and I was like, do I want to double up this Mimic Cave by like, so then what I got to do, I got to mirror, you know, I got to run back across the bridge, mirror, drop down, run back up, get back into the dark world, run back across. I mean, I guess I could have ran across in the light world, doesn't really matter. But it was a long time after that, and I figured, it's probably gonna not be a thing, and of course it ended up being a thing. But yeah, I felt behind. My friends will make fun of me too, because I was actually doing the splash deletion. I tried to do it in a race last night, and it just wouldn't work for me. And I don't know what I was doing wrong, because it hasn't really been a problem before. And then I loaded up the practice hack, and I was struggling with it there too, so I basically just decided I wasn't going to go for it. And good God, that cost me so much time, because like if you just, even if you got the water walk like I did and ran up to like, you know, you don't need the double water walk like I used to get the mirror. You could just get the items in there. I would have had the flute and then sort of do the easy splash deletion from the edge of the waterfall, right? As opposed to what I did. But I was just paranoid that I wasn't going to be able to get it, and I chickened out. So, but yeah, that was a seed that could have been a lot simpler if you were comfortable with your splash deletion. That's for sure.
Yeah, I gotta say I was a little bit like proud, I guess, with my Death Mountain decisions in the first game, because like most of the times if we don't have Moon Pearl, I always do like Spiral Cave before Hera just in case of Moon Pearl, so you can get like Spike and Spiral Cave.
Yeah.
But then just like as soon as I got the Moon Pearl, I was like, wait a minute, I have boost now, so I just left to like sequence break the mirror so I could like get the sword and the tablet and everything in like one go.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what I was thinking, except I went into Hera. Of course, I did the Hera pot, and then of course there was an item in the big chest, and then I went back for it. That felt great. And then of course in the second race, I didn't do the Hera pot, and the map was in the big chest, so I just can't ever pick the right time to or to not do that thing. But no, I bailed off the mountain as soon as I could too, because I wanted to get that sword, and I knew I could get the mirror already as well. That's funny. I think that was the right play, to be honest, because
yeah, I think so.
Because TR was a pendant, and I didn't want to go up there another time, like just to get the sword, you know. So I figure it would at least. I'm not sure if it was the right play from a time save standpoint, but sometimes you make the play that'll make you like feel better. At least I do. I don't because if I'd left that sword up there forever and not got until GT and had some combat issues, I would have been annoyed with myself. That was the silly seed though, the 3 swords being usable but not obtainable.
Yeah, that was like, as soon as I saw all those swords, I was like, well, we're probably gonna be walking around with like find a sword forever.
Yeah.
Was there ever consideration in the first game to go to AGA 1?
No.
Climbing that?
No. As soon as I saw that sword, I was like, yeah, we're never getting gold. Hopefully we can get tempered somehow.
For sure, the sword doesn't come into consideration when doing AGA, but it's like, other than I might gamble it a little earlier, but that tends to be more in a big race where I'm looking to make big brain plays as opposed to like play well and not leave something behind if there's a difference. Whereas if I leave something behind in a big race, I don't care. I'll just go pick it up and finish.
I mean, the first race definitely was an AGA bait before that.
Yeah.
But luckily it was like the Moon Pearl that was baiting you, so like I never do AGA without the Moon Pearl unless I pretty much have to. So
yeah, unless you see like something like you know you're gonna need like a mitt, a glove on the lumberjack ledge. I completely agree with that as well.
Yeah, I could definitely have seen like a way to do AGA in that one.
But the second seed with the lamp on the floating island, well, you know it's not going to be, or not the floating island, the Hylia island, you know it's not going to be an AGA seed at that point.
You say that, but I was like thinking AGA for a long time in the first one too, and then after a while I was like, wait a minute, what's the lamp on?
Yeah. Well, that was funny. So I went into Swamp really early in the second seed, and I almost, like was it the hook shot that was in Hype Cave, right? And I almost just went straight into Swamp, and then I checked my map first, and it was a pendant, and I was a little discouraged. So then I decided to go pick up my lamp, and then I'd skipped Dark Escape, and I was terrified of that. So I just picked up the lamp and then quickly ran and checked the pyramid and Dark Escape. And the whole time I was sort of trying to convince myself not to go into Swamp Palace, and I wasn't successful. Afterwards, I just saved quit, and I went right back into Swamp Palace. And yeah, like I said, it's almost like the feeling that you used to get back in the day with hints when you'd make a big brain play and then you find the hint that spoils it. Well, I found that silly bow in a horrendous spot and then just found the bow just sitting in a totally free spot in Sphere 1. And I'm like, oh no. Well, I didn't I mean, at least silvers I had them early in the seed so I could actually use them for a few things. So
I was kind of tempted to go into Swamp as soon as we got Darkhold access too, but since I could do Pod, I was like, nah, there's like no way I can justify you going into Swamp.
Yeah, for sure. Because
if it was a Crystal, I would have dived it before Pod, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would have made sense. I was really disappointed when it wasn't a Crystal because, you know, you open it up and it's like, great, Thieves Town's a pendant. That's lovely. And with I guess I'm always happy that Swamp's a Crystal in general because it nerfs hovering, but not necessarily an issue. I'm not sure if Walt hovers in this match, but I wasn't sure about it. And so I was happy. I'm never happy to see Pendant Swamp for that reason alone, but it's also like one of those dungeons that just takes, it's like such a investment. I feel like Mire and to some extent Skull Woods and Thieves Town, you can sort of just dip your toe in without it being so time intensive. But Swamp is a very big investment. But we had everything to get in there so early. It felt like the right play, and it didn't lead to anything. But I mean, boots early makes for at least a fun seed as well from that standpoint.
I feel like throughout the seed, both of you guys, you made the right decisions for the information you had, right? Like I totally agree with your play to go into Swamp in that situation without having knowledge of the bow. And I totally agree with Walter's decision not to go to Swamp because he did have that bow. Like those both make complete 100% sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Made the right play for both situations.
I'm not sure I agree with all the decisions I made.
Well, yeah,
there was one decision that you made, Walter, that I can't really get on board with is when you went to Swamp later. Like after, you do Pod and Mire and Desert and you're like nothing, and now you have the option. You can go to Swamp now, which you've had access to like this whole time, or you can do like some Overworld on the way to Swamp, and you decided to go straight to Swamp. I feel like if you had done the Overworld,
I was thinking because most of the times people don't want to go into Swamp, right? So I was thinking like, oh, Frostbite did like Village of Outcast, Thieves Town, and everything around that area. So I was like, if it's over there, he's probably like super way ahead of me anyway. So I felt kind of behind after like full clearing a lot of stuff that had nothing. So I was like, well, let's just go into Swamp instead then.
That's funny because I wasn't necessarily avoiding the village. You know, I agree with that. Certainly in a 1v1, it's like, well, this is a very accessible spot, so I don't want to go there if it's there because it's not good for me to get it now anyways. I just like, it just as a rule, I kind of not like to do other things other than Village of Outcast when it's pendant, just because I felt like if I went there, I was going to be committing to a bunch of Thieves Town if I went there early because it was the green pendant. I would be thinking about it the whole time, and because I could do the whole the whole east side of the Dark World, I decided to do that first. And then, I mean, I was going to the village. But I like to, when I had everything, right, because I found the shovel somewhere, I can't remember where, but I had all the stuff to do the south checks into the village, and I kind of like to route it that way rather than starting in the village and coming down, because I figured, well, what I'm looking for is somewhere in this swath between Stumpy and Skull Woods, and if I start at the bottom, I'm doing the dungeons sort of at the end of that trip. And then I found Ether like somewhere, Stumpy I think it might have even been, and I was like, well, the heck with Village of Outcasts, let's go right to Mire.
Same.
And then eventually I finally after Mire went back and found the Fire Rod, and I got lucky. I skipped several things. I was basically committing to not saving my portal because I hadn't done Bombos, I hadn't done Graveyard Ledge, and I hadn't done the Smith Chain. And even though you can obviously do the Smith Chain with saving your portal, it's pretty hard to do it and not lose time. Like, you're gonna lose time deathwarping on the Smith Chain.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So
at that point, it's better just.
And there's not even any like good enemies around that can kill you.
No, exactly. You got to run up to the murder dactyl almost to get an enemy that can do some damage, and that's slow. So I figured I was gonna leave as much as I could in that area. Go if it's in TR, great. If it's not in TR, well, it's somewhere in this chunk near village. And of course, I found the cape in TR, and I started laughing because in one of my matches in the last round, the cape was pretty instrumental in the race. And I don't even know. I don't think either of us ever ended up checking that spot, but I was worried about it. And then of
I
course,
think it was just that it was nothing.
oh yeah, you did check it at the end. And then and then of course that opened up Spike Cave again, which had me worried because that was what I last located in the first race. So
I made sure to sequence break that one. I was like, maybe it's gonna help me this time as well.
Exactly. I don't know what it is about that, because I think about sequence breaking so many other things in the game instinctively. And Spike Cave, it's like I have like this rigid lock in my brain where I don't do it until I get an invincibility, unless I'm like supremely overpowered. I don't know why I don't think about doing that more often, but probably because it's not hurt me too many times. Not like Dark Escape, which I skipped for some reason. I don't know why. But that one always worries me. But no, these were some interesting seeds. Not something. The first one was just both of us feeling behind, I think, in making suboptimal play after suboptimal play until we got to where we needed to get, and then this one basically I got lucky in sort of just the order I routed the mid game and ended up not going up to TR, and I sort of did that because I was gun shy after going into TR in the first race. I actually went up into the Dark World, and I was going to go to Tower of Heron no matter what before I went into TR, and I basically just convinced myself not to go into it during that time because it hurt me so badly. There's a difference. I mean, a million things were the difference in that first race, but it was a significant time sink in the first race, so I avoided it. But
yeah, Frost, you said before that Gideon's Cave was
right?
your least favorite location. Are you sure it's not Spike Cave?
Nah. I don't know what my least favorite location would be. Dark Escape. Dark Escape's my least favorite location. But this seed was screaming Ped too. I was so
Yeah, you will check that.
Yeah,
I was super scared of Ped.
Yeah, you're gonna try when you got the book. Both of you went straight for it.
Yeah, and especially after you kill Argus for nothing.
Well, exactly. We both had done Swamp, and I'm sure we both did Eastern and got the 3 items out of it, and didn't kill the boss.
As soon as I had.
Oh, you just got the glove? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If I went there fairly early because I think I found 300 rupees somewhere, and it delayed me going towards the flippers check, so I just went there instead because it was a pendant, and I figured I wouldn't have to go back. And then right away, I see what the pendant layout is, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go back to Eastern. And the book was it was deep. It was in Mire on Vitreous, so I figured I'm missing both rods. They can definitely be on the ped. The first thing I have to do is check it. And of course, what happens? The very next check is the fire rod, and I end up right next to the pedestal, like within the next 2 minutes after I ran up there and checked it solo. But I don't normally do that. But I just had a really strong feeling about the pedestal and the seat because of the sort of the layout and the order it gave you the items, and basically, especially with Swamp being in Logic so early and not really leading to anything in the end game. Like I'd already determined by that point that Swamp couldn't have led to anything. So
I got a pretty good laugh about the flippers in Link's house after how last seed ended.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
Well, if there's one takeaway we can take from having seen both these races, is that WaltherIV and Frostbite3030 are pretty evenly matched. And I mean, in both races, there's like a pretty significant gap in time between the finishes, but that is not indicative of how the seed actually played out. You guys were each just like one check in a different order away from having a tie most of the time.
Yeah, that's how a lot of these races go.
So Walther, having lost this one, you'll get to choose to change a setting for the next race. Do you know what you're gonna pick?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Fast Ganon for the next one.
Nice.
Oh, I'm gonna have to make a text box that says Fast Ganon and print it out and tape it to my monitor.
Can you imagine if you lost your series because you forgot it was Fast Ganon?
I mean, I can imagine it because I've done it 2 or 3 times in dailies, but
wow.
But those were times when I like to think I wasn't that focused on the race. But I will. I'm actually going to make a printout that says Fast Ganon and tape it to my monitor before the start of that race.
You guys say that we were pretty evenly matched, but in my head, Frostbite is like the clear favorite. So I think just taking GT away might be a good idea.
I've gotten good at picking the guessing game. Apparently, I was so happy when I found the small key in the compass room because then I knew the next check was going to be the big key. It's the little things about this game that make you smile.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get that. I don't know that I mean, everyone always downplays their execution for the most part, and I would say maybe I have a little bit up on Walther, but it's not that significant. But I 100% support the decision of if you feel you have the worst execution, then the best thing you should do is get rid of Cannon's Tower.
I went into your SRL page this week, and I saw that like in the last 18 months you have 1,300 SRL races done, and I was like, that's a lot.
That's what happens when you're on unemployment. Like I got laid off and was getting paid not to work and couldn't work for 16 months. So it's like, might as well do this. That's not happening anymore though.
That's a lot of experience playing Rando.
Yeah, for sure. Mind you, I never really play any when I'm not racing. So if I'm racing, I'm playing. If I'm not, I'm not. So I have. I feel like I do better on routing than sort of like the NMG style execution boss fights. But I'm good enough, I feel. But yeah, it's what can I say? It's my hobby.
Well, both of you put on a show today. It was a lot of fun to watch both of you. We both myself and Corey watched the first game as well. It's great seeing the level of execution you guys have. Like we saw a lot of tricks, saw splash deletion, saw multiple different types of bomb jumps. So I feel like I saw a lot of like one-off tricks in these two games. It was just a lot of fun.
Super fun to play.
I'm ready to rewatch the races and make a list with Koi's name over.
I did make fun of you quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I got my ass in Koi.
I feel that's fair. If I do something dumb, like for example at the start of the game, walk right into the chicken hut before I bought bombs because I readied up, and then I looked at my tracker and I realized that I still had the tracker open for the last race, and the race had already started, so that was great. But
yeah, I think I mentioned that too during the race.
Well, I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. I got a tracker open, and then I looked at the tracker and I was like, oh, you moron. But that wasn't too bad. Especially shout out to Dunka with the tracker. That'll help me a lot actually with the fast cannon too, because he's got it so that you can.
Yeah, Dunka's tracker is pretty sick.
It's really, really good these days, especially with all the modes, especially with the mystery modes he's got connected in. I love it. So, but yeah, this is. I don't know if I'm gonna watch him back because everyone always says I'm reading it. Your execution was good, and I look at it and I only notice the things that I screw up, so I tend to get annoyed when I watch it back. But maybe I'll.
That's why you watch them, so you can like improve on what you did wrong.
I feel like I know what I did wrong though, but I guess that is right because it'll be like, oh, that third room in Meyer you screwed up or whatever, right? So I guess that is.
It gives you like perspective as well when you can see like both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I'll probably just ping for a mystery race later or something like that instead of watching this back. So.
Yeah, but I'm hyped for Game 3. We're gonna have to like find a date later on this week maybe. Yeah,
should be awesome. Looking forward to it. Fast scanning, gonna get it tattooed on the back of my hand. No, GG's Waldo's awesome racing, obviously, and Koi and Lavos, thanks for the call. And I think it was Marge and Mr. Fear Agent for the first call, so I'm sure they said only pleasant things about us. And
only pleasant.
Really.
Fear talked about you hating Spike Cave for like 10 straight minutes.
I don't even hate Spike Cave. I hate lots of locations, but
you hate Spike Cave after today.
Yeah, like it's an induced hatred, right? I just didn't like the fact that honestly, just to dwell on that for 1 second, the only thing I really didn't like was that I went to Skull Woods before I went to Spike Cave, because if it was in Skull Woods, I figured I was absolutely toast, but it was just like 5 or 6 checks with Cape Ledge, and I don't know if I'd done the mirror checks or not, I can't remember, but that was really the decision that irritated me the most in the end, was going there before Spike Cave. No. I don't know what I think Dark Escape. I'll stick with Escape in general is something I hate, and Dark Escape primarily.
Well, I gotta say, I do look forward to seeing your Game 3. And it's going to be exciting just because that's going to be the end of winners finals for your group. But I think this is probably a good time to start wrapping it up. Frostbite or Walter, you have any final?
Nah, GG's to Frostbite and to everyone who's been like tracking, commentating, setting up these two restreams, and to everyone in chat as well.
Yeah, same thing. GG's to Walter the Fourth, and just a shout out to the the administrators of the tournament for getting the stuff up and running too. Just give them a quick shout out, as well as everyone else involved in making the stream happen. It's super fun.
Sweet, yeah. So definitely follow the runners. Look at the commentators. Yeah, this was Koi and Lavos Cloud, and our tracker today was Slowpoke. Everybody did a great job. It was a lot of fun, and we'll see you on the flip side.